Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for November 23rd through the 29th, 2020. So I'd just like to introduce you to our new tarot card deck that we'll be using for a while. I was guided by the angels, and when I asked them what decks I should use, I always asked them to show me an illustration of the deck. And I saw these beautiful landscapes and of nature with waterfalls, and the earth was so rich and vibrant and alive. And I recognized this tarot deck immediately because it's the only one that has such profound and sort of, it feels like they're alive, although they're, it's an illustration. And so it's the Druid Craft Tarot. It's by Philip and Stephanie Cargome and illustrated by Will Worthington. And, full disclaimer, in a few of the cards, there is full nudity. So, if that may be of concern for you, you may want to make your own decisions for you and your family. But it's a very few cards, and I think it's tastefully done. There's nothing here that's for the sake of exploiting. So many people are aware of this deck, but maybe you may not, who are watching my channel right now. So just to be aware of that, I feel like there is a really intentional that the deck is intentionally really focusing on the landscapes in the traditional tarot setting. So that's something and it's very emotional. So something to pay attention to as we go through the deck. So just some quick announcements. I think I'll go with just reminding everyone, especially our new subscribers and people who are watching the channel for the first time, about my special offer for my angel reading of $77 for a half hour. Is been offered for the month of November, and will likely probably go into December as the pandemic is still, at its height now. So if you'd like to get an angel reading with me, you can get my half-hour reading for a full hour. So just go to my page, theangelschool.com, click on that half-hour reading as it is, and within 24 hours on the first business day of the week, or within 24 hours of any business day of the week, depending on when you submit your request, I will get back to you. Okay, so on the weekends, you'll have to wait until the first day of business day, but otherwise I will get back to you. I will send you an email confirmation noting the special offer, and we'll give you further instructions. Just be aware that, readings may be within 2 weeks out. So in terms of getting a reading, sometimes there's something sooner, but just keep that in mind, all right? And just remember also to follow us, on this channel, to subscribe, click the notification bell, and to like the channels. That helps with the algorithms, etc. And remember that the daily card messages I am doing this week, and that you can go to my Facebook page, or you can find it here on YouTube. So there's a link below for my Twitter and Facebook page, as well as my website. All right. So let's take a deep breath together. And really feel yourself connected with everything, with the planet, with Lady Gaia, And as you do this, as you set this intention, really connecting with your heart. And feel the enormous love that is there for you. And you may even be aware of some of your nature guides, such as animal guides and angels. And allow yourself to see a very large and ancient tree. And that this tree gives you access to the network of the universe and our planet. Just allow yourself to feel the frequency and vibration of this tree and the strands of current that flow through this tree, the energy, the information, the gifts, and the awareness. And feel your own heart begin to leap in its pulses as it's now adjusting to the frequency of vibration flowing through this tree. And you may feel as though you are gradually being drawn closer to the tree, and it is becoming one with you. And just affirming that I am my I am presence. And I am one with the I am presence of all of humanity. And that I am one with the I am presence of creation. And feel yourself no longer feeling lost, but at home, as you feel the enormous love pouring through you and into your heart. Just allow your heart to take in the love of the universe and the love of our planet, these frequencies of enormous love to fill your heart. You may feel energy coming from the earth below and up through your chakras and into your heart, and the energy above from the universe flowing down through your upper chakras and into your heart. And like an enormous tide of energy pools clashing and melding, integrating and spinning into a wheel. And as this wheel spins, in the center of this wheel, a third eye appears. And this is your inner guidance, your divine sight, and knowing and understanding and feeling. It is life itself, but at the highest possible frequency that you're allowing at this time. And this sacred vision, guidance, is leading you towards opportunities. And it's just encouraging you to go, to trust and believe in yourself. And know that all the laws, when you do this, the laws of the universe will acquiesce and support you and fulfill whatever it is that you imagine. The entire cosmos, they write, is sending you signals and is acutely aware of every intention and desire of fulfillment that you wish to manifest. And they need you to clear the way of all the outer distractions so that your heart can truly lead you. But you need to believe in your heart. You need to trust in your heart. And you need to be willing to take action as a way of making a decision. Because once you make up your mind and you make that decision, the universe automatically, all of the focus is behind that decision. But when we keep wavering and we don't trust and we doubt, we split the hairs of this energy. And so it's not really giving momentum to anything. So don't spend a lot of your time worrying about what decision to make. Don't spend your energy worrying either. Because when you worry, you don't worry about one thing. You think you're focused on one thing that's concerning you, but a whole array of things start to come in with that, and it creates this collage. And that means that none of your energy can really move or help you find solutions or resolutions, because all of the energy is going everywhere. Your energy is trying to go in all these different directions instead of where your heart is guiding you. And where your heart guides, it solves, it understands the bigger picture. It understands everything that you need and you value. And it is protecting that. It embraces all of that in love. But fear exposes everything that you love and value. It exposes it to your fears, to your suspicions. And think about it when you've been around people who are fearful or suspicious or paranoid. Like, you don't want to be around that, right? It doesn't feel good. It feels like you're watching someone just fall apart. And that's what you're doing when you worry, or when you're indecisive, when you're afraid to live life. Because that's what it really means. Because there's no consequence of misery because you choose this and over this, and then you go back and say, and you believe you're going to go back and say, I should have done that. Because that is not how it works. The universe, once you make up your mind, the universe pours all of the abundance, all of its light behind you. So whatever path you decide to go down, that path is going to proliferate. Automatically. Abundance is going to be created on that path as long as you stay in alignment with the frequency of what you have decided upon. It will keep improving. And even if it's going to challenge you, because you might have a few little doubts that you put into the mix, that's the reason, it's going to challenge you to overcome those doubts, to put those doubts to rest or to bed, so that you don't allow them to manifest further along this path. And a path isn't like, I don't know, when I said that, the word comes to me as opportunity. So a path is not just this thing you want, but a path is all the things that you deserve, the potential of them unfolding. So don't live your life based on your expectations, because you limit the abundance of what you deserve. You just made a choice, and it creates this path because you feel it as a path because your heart is leading you. But your heart is not leading you to one specific end. It does not work this way. It leads you to everything you deserve because there are more decisions to be made. Because this is what life is. When you decide, life unfolds. But when you're afraid, it seems as though you're stagnating and not going anywhere. And that's because you haven't decided. You do not believe in yourself. You're doubting yourself, and you're doubting your heart. And this is like tying the signals. And they just showed me a hammer. And I don't know if they want you to, to just take that hammer and break something open. And maybe the energy of a hammer, I get this sense of let's say you decide let's make it simple. I was going to say, bust a wall open and, create a new room or something. But let's make it simple. Let's say you're going to just hang a picture. There's some of us, don't tell anybody, but I'm talking about myself right now, who has a problem with even hanging a picture because that decision seems so final and permanent, because I don't keep forgetting that you can go out and buy the little paste stuff and put it in the hole and seal it and repaint it. But then, of course, I probably know that, but don't want to do that because I don't want to go through the trouble. And that is what happens sometimes with decisions. We're afraid of the responsibilities that will come because we want things to be easy, because we don't believe that we're adequate. But that doesn't mean that the universe isn't abundant. That doesn't mean that your life isn't full of opportunity. It doesn't mean that your soul is already prosperous. Just because your fears cripple you from using your power. So I'm feeling an activity of light coming on here, which is that you may need to practice with hanging a picture, like the small little decisions like that, or something, redecorating or changing something, because those are decisions. And I want you to look back and think about, in this time frame of your life right now, how many things are you hesitating about? Because if you've been worried all this time, if I do that, I will miss out on that. Well, that is the lie that your ego is telling you. And that is the lie that many people believe, and therefore we support each other in this way of thinking. But it is further from your truth. And that is why it causes you to feel distressed. Because any kind of negative emotion is, in reality, a signal that you are giving attention in an opposing way that your inner being does not see, does not take the same point of view or have the same outlook. And therefore, if your outlook differs from your inner being, that means that you are going to feel miserable. It's not because it's an omen of misery that is being portended on this path of your expectation that is very narrow, because you're only wanting that and excluding all that the universe wants to give you that you deserve. And this is another opposition to your inner being's or the universe's perspective, which is why you're having so much fear and hesitation about it. Because you need, and I need, to get rid of that belief. And that belief is spinning with momentum based on the practice that you've taken over your life about this very idea that we're speaking of right now. It wasn't true then, and it isn't true now, and it wasn't true in all the times between. What you experience was the outcome of your expectations, because you are a creator of your reality, and you will get whatever you believe you deserve to get, if you know what I mean. So let's get rid of these doubts. And doubts can be recognized by the misery, by the lack of comfort, the distress, the anxiety. All of this is telling you not that you're crazy, there's something wrong with you, or you need to be fixed. It's telling you you need to fix your outlook, because you are disagreeing with your supreme wisdom. And I hate to use the word superior, but when we're being ego, then there is this, you are in your inferior self rather than your superior self. But the good news is that it says in this context that you have a superior self, that you demote constantly through your negative attention and inner dialogue about yourself. And doubt is that thing. If you want to correct and implement something, and that's what we mean by this activity of light, if you want to correct this issue, start making tiny decisions every day, going for it. Just take the hammer and just, say to yourself, okay, I think it's fine. I think it'll be fine there. Try it. Not go get the plaster and do it. But you can do that after you try it out. But at least, if you had to take and hammer in 50 different places, and you just went for it, you decided and you trusted, that is not failure. See, your ego would tell you, see, you failed. You went through all of that and now everything is messed up. No, to your higher self, you affirmed your faith, which means your faith grew every time you put that nail, hammered those nails in the wall, even though you weren't satisfied. Because what you realize is that it's not about, if you're not satisfied, that's the end. If you're not satisfied, you always get to choose. And that's your spiritual power that many of us were not invoking. And no matter, I hate to say this, but it relates. No matter how you voted, that is what that is about as well. It's the same energy. So it's good to exercise the ability for you to decide by trusting your heart and increasing your faith in return. All right, let's take a look at the card. Let's see what the Archangel message is for this week. Victory. And this is the Archangel Sandalphon. This is one of the two people who were humans and then taken and made archangels. This is Elijah, the prophet Elijah. So there were two prophets, Enoch and Elijah, who were made archangels. And so Archangel Sandalphon answers prayers and takes your prayers up to heaven. So, this sense of victory is when you make decisions and you will feel this sense of victory. You will feel as though the universe is responding to your prayers because all of your conviction is, and everything in your heart is aligning with what you want. And not only with what you want, but what you deserve. And that level of what we deserve is like an expansion of your desire. It is an expansion of all opportunities available to you at all times. So don't get stuck on your expectation and slight, not see, it's like your blind spot of don't put your opportunities in the blind spot. Now they keep bringing back this word, and I saw it earlier, job. When I see this word, it means that it's, a client or something is coming. So there may be a job opportunity or a job opportunity, not like just a new job, like you got to, if you work in a company, but it might mean that new work in the company may come for you. All right, they're writing the word Jupiter. So the planet Jupiter is about expansion and abundance. So there, some kind of expansion might unfold for you in your work this week. They wrote the word fact. I don't know what that means, but you will have to see what that means. Nothing comes to my mind right away. But they are writing the word resentment behind it. So I feel like, maybe wrong, but you may not get what you were expecting, resentment. In fact, is that something else will come. It's almost like they're saying, if you're disappointed by something you didn't get, it's a fact. They're like basically qualifying themselves here, saying that it's a fact. Don't worry, because there's something else that you deserve in that realm of the expanded opportunities that you don't focus on. That's what you deserve, and that's what you're going to get. Okay? So I felt it was like almost like, in the Celtic cross is how I saw it. It's like the word fact came in, and then the word resentment was behind it. So it's like they were crossing each other. So the thing is, if you don't, it's because you put your resentment, you use your resentment as a challenge to the opportunity. So there's like when in the Celtic cross, when those two cards cross, it's like one is a situation, one's a challenge, and you made your resentment became a challenge to the situation that you deserve. Okay, good enough. And let's take a look at the card. All right, and look at this, the 9 of Pentacles. So this is giving you a sense of of independence. That this opportunity might give you some kind of financial independence. Now, again, when people say things like this, where your mind goes, right? Because we have a limited view about what abundance is, about what independence is. And because of that, it's like we create this gap, in this huge gap. So that if you're really struggling, the idea of of things, of life being smooth, seems nearly impossible. Because we don't focus on the gradients of grace, if that's a concept, but it's the words coming into my mouth, that helps us to create alignment, the word I'm seeing. So that other thing, they write in a cognitive dissonance, that those are the ways that we keep enforcing that cognitive dissonance, where we can't get our faith in alignment with our truth, because we see a card like this, like, that'll never happen to me by tomorrow. But what they're trying to say, let me get to the point before I forget it, is that it could be that the independence that you feel, because the thing about it is the independence versus dependency. If you feel, dependent rather than independent, these are feelings. And it's the feeling that is causing the outer experience to seem so drastically different and unobtainable. But the feelings are where manifestation starts. It's the cause and effect. The plane of cause is the internal reality. And your internal reality is blowing out of proportion, being able to be moved from dependency to independency, when they are just frequencies very close to one another. I don't know why they're doing this to me. Gosh. But this wrote orgasm in the sense that, you could just be feeling miserable and then have an orgasm and feel amazing for the moment until you focus your attention back on your worries. And that is what they want you to understand. And that's why our body is able to produce pleasure through sensation, touch, etc. Because they want to show you that the ability to manipulate your emotional value is instantaneous if you so choose. So this shift in your job could be something like that you're given a leadership role that makes you feel all of a sudden independent. It makes you feel valued. And in that feeling of value, you feel independent. You feel you're floating at such a higher frequency that you don't feel as stuck as you felt before, which is that dependency. So it's this interplay within the world of form and finance and opportunity, job opportunity, that may be the thing that creates this little shift. It may not be a big thing. It may not be a big bundle of money, but it may be a big responsibility that makes you feel better about you because you realize, oh, I am seen and I am valued. So this kind of idea, isn't that extraordinary? Never had that thought before. Okay. Let's take a look at the card for the middle of the week. And we have another 9. Wow. Okay. So that's really this idea of self-sufficiency, because the hermit is someone who's self-sufficient. He doesn't look rich, but he's self-sufficient because he knows when it's time. If he's out of alignment, he knows when he needs to withdraw, go within, and shore up his spiritual strength and his spiritual wisdom and sort of learn from his own inner wisdom. And it raises him up to a frequency of independency. And so here we're seeing this card is usually the wish card, and it's usually that because it shows somebody. I mean, look at his girth here. He gets what he wants. He has everything he wants. He's literally the depiction of that fulfillment. And when you feel like you get everything you want, you feel lucky. Again, we keep putting so much emphasis on the external conditions. And that is our idea of fact. But that is our false news. Every time we keep going by what we see happening, not understanding that the world of form begins in the realm of cause, which begins within you, and based on how you decide how you want to feel. When you decide how you want to feel, then your heart will lead you to accomplish that victoriously, as the Archangel card says. And this is, again, going back to the orgasm, or being in love. When somebody loves you, or you find somebody you're in love with, and that somebody returns their affection for you, you feel high all of a sudden. And then stuff starts to happen, because that's how powerful your belief is in that experience. Isn't this extraordinary what they're doing to us today? Extraordinary. And look, we come back to this card, which we've been talking about all this time. That decision, the Two of Swords. Okay? And, okay, don't let your... I'm going to fixate, right? On perfection. Nope, not going to do that. But this card, and this is what I mean by the emotion. Look at this two paths here, and we've been talking about paths. And look at the trees and the branches. They're so strong, and oh my goodness, it's like a world. It's like an architecture of itself, of natural design. And even though these paths they're dust, right? And it's uncurated, but yet they speak of something clearly. And it looks like the crescent moon, because the twos all align with the high priestess, right? And so it just reminds us of that, going within. She's got a blindfold, which sort of like an initiate sitting there, learning to deal with problems, but for the first time by going within. She blindfolded herself. Nobody did it to her. And I feel like this card is an example, like, maybe of the high priestess, or someone who wants to become the high priestess, and she's going out in the wood and practicing. Instead of looking at the path and judging them by their outer appearances, she's going within and thinking about her choices and feeling the emotional content that her heart is responding. And her heart is responding to, is shining a light. And until she holds one of the swords symbolically in front of it, it's like that light, if that sword aligns with that light, the light will shine bright to her. It appears as shining brighter. It's only just because that it seems it's getting brighter, because the one that is in alignment sort of augments that light by being one with it and present with it, where the other is not, and you will feel as though you won't feel the light, because although the light is still shining, because that one diminishes it when it's held in front of you. It's that kind of awareness that they're asking you to start working with. All right, to start working with that kind of awareness. I just want to look at the card here a little bit more. All right, beautiful, beautiful card, and just a beautiful understanding that is unfolded here. Incredible. All right, so let's take a look at the card from the bottom of the deck that I already pulled, and it's a Magician card. And this is just telling you that you have it within you to do this, right? To believe in yourself. Now, when I saw this card, and this is the first time I've really ever been motivated to go through a deck, which I haven't done yet, but I'm going to do it, because I started just seeing things that, just philosophies and things came to me. But what I got out of this card is, being aware of So you have all the elements within you, right? All the tools are there. And one of the things that we may want to think about, especially in our practice, whether it's meditation or when we're working, because I mean, this is a masculine energy card. So, okay, you decide to take action. Now there's how you go about that. And one idea that came to me was just looking at this sacred space he was in the time of the day. There was this added wisdom to think about the time when you're most potent. So when your potency is at its fullest effect, because that's an important part of manifestation or the magical process, right? And for all of us on the everyday plane, and for many of us who don't think of ourselves as magicians necessarily, but we do think of ourselves as everyday people who have passions and work and talents and gifts, and we know that we find ourselves that we're more potent at other times of the day. Some of you find that you're best at, working at night. I'm that way, but I don't do that because of when I was teaching, I had to, shift everything. And I just haven't gone back to it. But it is the ideal time for me if I wanted to write or do anything. I could always think clearly during the night hours, after midnight. And so if you have time now, and if there's something you want to work on and you really want to accomplish it, find that time when your inner magic, when your inner alignment and awareness of that alignment with the universe is at its most potent, right? And so be aware of that in order to really work with your gifts. But this card is definitely saying that you have all the tools within you to take the action step, to make that decision to go with it. This is the seed, the unity, and implementation. All right. So in this week, they really want you to, and again, go back and emphasize that activity of light. Make decisions. Don't hold back. Don't be afraid to make the investment in yourself. Okay? All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and have a beautiful week. God bless you.